Conference Finals tipped off last night with the Heat win. But that hasn't stopped us from looking ahead to next season, where it looks like 5 of the league's 6 top salaries are no longer in this year's playoffs.
I saw this yesterday. Threw up in my mouth.
Well, let's take a look at this.
Oh, God.
So Steph Curry is making $48 million.
I can live with that.
This is for the 2022-23 season.
Yeah.
James Harden, 47.4, and obviously his contract is a point of conversation with the Sixers going into next year, which that could skyrocket. John Wall, Russell Westbrook, LeBron James, and Kevin Durant. John Wall's making 47.4, Russell Westbrook 47.1. LeBron should be making, whatever they could possibly pay him,
right,
but 44.5, and Kevin Durant as well is making 44.2 million. The other interesting thing about this list to me is that 3 of these players did not make the playoffs at all. One of them got swept in the first rounds. And, of course, James Harden was tragic in the second half in the playoffs this postseason. This is a rough list. This actually, look, I don't get really upset with what players make. I'm not running them that check, so it's not coming out of my pocket. It really doesn't make any difference to me personally how much people make. I'm a huge advocate for people making as much money as they can make at what it is that they do for a living. This is what basketball players do for a living. They play basketball. They want to make the most money. They can't play forever. We know all that. I do think, however, it feels like the NBA is making a bit of a shift now. It seems like we're kind of coming back, as we always do, big swings, and things are starting to correct now, where you're looking at the teams that are remaining in the postseason. Who do we have? Miami. We already know how they build teams.
Yeah.
Golden State. We already know how they build teams.
Yeah.
The Celtics. We obviously know how they build teams.
Yeah.
They've been in this process forever. And now Luka, another team that has drafted a young star, developed him, and put pieces around him. It's all good coaching. Culture. Deep rosters, strong role guys, developed players, and you're seeing the results of that. And Milwaukee is all of that, and they won the championship last year. So I do think we're going to get into a space where teams are going to be less hesitant to make these big swings on the superstars that might not be reliable at that point, several years down the road. Yeah. We'll see how it goes, but that's a rough list. When you consider three of them were not in the playoffs this year.
John Wall has really monetized his brand.
Good for him. I mean,
he's made a lot of money.
Make your money.
Doesn't play much, but he makes a lot of money.
I mean, that's how it goes. Well, Steve Kerr has been cleared from the NBA's health and safety protocols after testing positive for COVID before Game 4 of the series against the Grizzlies. So despite his absence, the Warriors were able to go on and win the series against Memphis. And now they have Luka in the Mavs, which tips off tonight. Very excited for this series.
Yes.
Here is Kerr on missing Golden State's last 2 games.
I just felt like I better test. I mean, if I give, pass this on to the team, I'll never forgive myself. Not easy to sit at home and watch, but symptoms weren't bad at all. And it was just kind of my turn, It seems like last couple of years, practically everybody on our coaching staff and our team has had it at some point. So it was just my turn, but luckily it wasn't too bad.
There you go.
Well, glad to know that he is healthy and back. And obviously they're a championship team. We're able to get it done without him there, but you're going to want him for the Western Conference Finals and the finals, and he's back. So Warriors are favored by 5.5 tonight.
I like Dallas to cover. Here's what'll be interesting. Between Brunson and Dinwiddie and Luka, I think they're going to attack Steph Curry to force Steph on the other end to play defense, and hopefully, because Jordan Poole's not consistent offensively, he's really gifted, and Clay's not quite where he's been. I think they're going to go after Steph and make Steph really defend as much as he possibly can, lean on him. And so I think Steph's I don't see huge games for Steph in the series. I see huge games for Luka. But I think the surrounding players to Steph, I think Dallas is going to say, okay, if Andrew Wiggins beats us and Clay beats us, we're good with it. We're not letting – because I don't think deep down Golden State Luka's becoming a little bit like LeBron and Michael Jordan in his prime. You're not going to stop him.
Correct.
Steph, older player, doesn't get quite the separation on his shot. I think you can throw bodies at Steph, make him defend, pull him down, and then, okay, if Jordan Poole beats us, we can live with that.
I think the only way that the Mavs win this series, and I'm not saying that they won't, I really don't know which way this series goes, but the way that the Mavs win this series to me is to be consistent. The thing about the Warriors that we know is they are never, ever out of it. They can go on a streak like that, and they're right back in the game. And they have the confidence to do that as well. So you're not going to blow Golden State out like Memphis did. I don't think that's going to happen again. Luka's going to get what he gets. Everyone else is going to have to raise their level of play around Luka and be consistent throughout the series. Now, I'm sure Golden State has some tape. They watched how things went in the last series with the Mavs. I know everyone's freaking out about how Chris Paul and Devin Booker fell apart in the last game. That's fair. But that was a 7-game series. It's not like Dallas walked all over the Suns for, for the entire series.
Right.
So I think it's going to be a good one. I think both of these conference finals go 7.
Good stuff, Joy, with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Logics.
Jimmy Butler's all man. He's shooting 59% in the playoffs in non-3-pointers. That's like what Wilt would shoot. That's what centers shoot that dunk the ball all the time. That's a remarkable number. He's very Kawhi Leonard. He's get a bucket, get a stop guy. Effort, A+. Passion, A+. He's the anti-Ben Simmons. But what he really is something analytics don't measure. Competitiveness. I've said this about Aaron Rodgers. The analytics love him. He's so pretty. But Aaron Rodgers has a very small number of come-from-behind wins in his career. It's odd. Fewer than Matt Ryan, far fewer than Matt Stafford. Because Aaron's not a foxhole guy. He's a baller, but also a bailer. He's not there for you when you really need him. He's great when it's comfortable. And after the game, Eric Spoelstra talked about what makes Jimmy Butler special, and it's not an analytic.
Jimmy Butler is an elite competitor. You know, there's a lot of guys in this league that are playing basketball. He's competing to win. That's a totally different thing, and he does that as well as anybody in this league. Every time and pocket in the game when we needed to control, the game or get the right shot or make the right decision, Jimmy had his fingerprints on that. If you're driven by competition, and the stakes get raised, you're going to raise your level of play, and it's not about trying to get bigger numbers or. It's about doing what's required.
Be the last man standing. Last night, Jimmy Butler was. Joy Taylor with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
Well, NFL officials began direct meetings with Deshaun Watson yesterday. So this is a new development as the league looks to determine whether he violated the personal conduct policy, and if so, what discipline should be imposed. He is facing 22 civil lawsuits from women who have accused him of inappropriate sexual conduct during massage sessions. So 2 grand juries in Texas have denied to indict him on criminal charges, and he has denied all wrongdoing. But as we know, when it comes to the league, you do not have to be indicted. You do not have to be prosecuted. You do not have to go to jail. You don't even have to be arrested in order for the league to suspend you. They can just determine that you violated the personal conduct policy, and then they can suspend you. And that is up to the commissioner, obviously. They do have panels and such, but it is not that's the process of it. The commissioner is going to decide how many games he should get. Now, this is an unprecedented number of accusers in this particular situation. Obviously, the main one that everyone is going to pull up is Ben Roethlisberger in 2010. He got 4 games. Now,
this feels far more egregious because of the number.
Correct. Well, yes, it is. It's incomparable when you talk about the number. But he got 4 games in 2010. Now, if you're looking at some of the other suspensions, obviously Ray Rice was indefinitely. Greg Hardy got 4 games. Ezekiel Elliott got 6 games in 2017. That's probably a more recent comparison. Kareem Hunt got 8 games in 2019. My assumption is that it will be around 8 games.
That's exactly what I think. I think, and I've thought about this. Like, listen, certain people are not going to be happy if you unless you said the whole season.
Correct.
But also, commissioners have that balance of I work for the owners. I want to be reasonable but very punitive. There's a lot of things weighing here.
Yes.
I always start with 8. I start with it. It feels like 8 games feels, again, what's appropriate. It feels more reasonably appropriate. Half the season, you're out.
Well, Kareem Hunt's is the most recent that I'm looking at right now, and he had who was involved in this type of